My Gavanen, Melanine, and well met indeed. I'm Eric Galadurthan, the head of Divide and Conquer, the submod for Third Age Total War, and welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we continue on as Angmar. In our current little dance that we're having with Lindon, as they move to retake the lands of the dwarves of Ered Luin, and we move to try and run away from them whilst losing no ground. The elves outclass Angmar very, very much, and if we do get into a prolonged combat with them, they will destroy us. So we're trying to avoid that. Also, we're trying to defend our capital city, our secondary city, sorry, Shadun. Khandum is our capital city, but Shadun would be our likely replacement. I believe we're at end turn, unless we have any agents. No, we do not. Did we call an invasion in the end? Did I get involved in one? There's one already in progress. Where did we send that? Or did it just go to there? It probably just went to there, let's be honest. It normally does. Oh, there you go. I've got some very interesting modding information for you, and we've just gone to the perfect location. I have edited the map, and Lothlorien is now entirely surrounded by a river. So it comes along the borders of the forest there and comes around there. And there's now only one crossing, which is about here. There's one crossing just here, north of Carascalathon, and this crossing has been moved next to that silk resource there. The river comes over a bit further now. But in addition to this, the land bridge, which you currently have here, has been moved to this side of the river. So now, to defend Lothlorien, you can defend it with the 3 key bridge battles, and you no longer need to worry about people being able to walk in, because it's very difficult to defend land bridges, because they don't work like normal bridges. So it's not an actual bridge battle, it's normally a normal battle, but the map's just a bit weird. But in addition to that, I have also removed this island. So there's still a land bridge here, but there's no longer an island, which is nice. This crossing has been totally removed. So the Karok is now the complete northern, the way across the river in the north, or that river up there. So there's a land bridge there, and the original land bridge that was here, I moved up to, I think, around here. So there is a land bridge here, and there is a land bridge here. So you can still get across the river easily enough, but Lothlorien is now entirely surrounded by rivers, which is a nice little feature. I also increased the replenishment time of the... Oh, it happened. I increased the replenishment time of the fort units to be 35 turns. So rather than the 16 turns that they were, they now take 35 turns to replenish. So that has changed. We've added a script for Enid Wythe that forces them to attack people by turn 26. They now actually attack Bree, Gondor, and with a large chance of attacking Dunland, so that's been added. Captain Hallodan comes for us, and we will wipe him out. Added a few other bits and bobs actually here and there. Oh yes, the coward trait, which seemed to be causing a few crashes, given that the game... It's something that I'm not 100% sold on the idea, but it certainly would make sense. And that is that we think that the coward trait, which is assigned when you lose a battle. So if a general loses a battle or runs away or something like that, he might get the cowardly trait. And the cowardly trait is just obviously a negative trait to him and his combat abilities. But the problem we seem to be seeing was that the cowardly trait couldn't be given if the general had died in the battle, because the game has a strange way of calculating whether or not a general has died. And if he dies in the battle but still gets the cowardly trait, then it seemed to crash. And the general consensus is that it crashed because the game can't give a dead general a trait. Now, I'm not 100% sold on that idea, but as I say, it does sound like it would make sense. So what I've done is I've removed the ability to gain the cowardly trait through losing battles. So you can still have cowards in your army, but now it will likely be from birth. So they could be born cowards, which I think is quite reasonable. People are born cowards. It's not something you tend to learn. Sometimes, well, not everyone is obviously born a coward, but I would suggest that cowards in general, either many of them kind of have that trait to begin with. Although some obviously would learn it, but in order to ensure the stability of DaC, I've removed the trigger that earns cowardly after battles. So that has gone. I also reduced the garrison of Dale and Esgaroth Both of those have been toned down. I also replaced something that many people have asked for, and we finally have done. I replaced Gundabad with Leo's newer version of Gundabad that's meant to be inspired by the Hobbit movies. Getting involved there, well done, men. Probably being a bit too blasé with our cavalry, really. Cavalry's very, 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 very precious to Angmar. We shouldn't really use it. But I replaced Gundabad with Leo's new Gundabad, and I fixed the black textures of Thorin's halls. So those two more little bug fixes that have been done. The sprites of the Shadow Knights for Dol Guldur have been fixed, so they no longer look like men standing on top of a horse when you zoom out. Additionally, someone called Ariora, who reworked the Lindon bodyguard unit that you've all seen from some of the videos. He also darkened the textures of the Thranduil's Realm elite units. So they're not as coppery anymore, they're a bit more wooden, they look a bit more wooden, and it looks really good. It does look really good, so many thanks to Arioria for that. We've added that work. None of this you will see in this campaign. The whole reason why these campaigns started again, really, was obviously for stability within the campaigns themselves, and something that always breaks the stability, no matter how small it is modding files. And so I've obviously kept away from adding anything to these games, to this build, for these YouTube videos. So you won't see any of these changes in my Let's Plays, but they will be in version 1.1. The only thing left on our to-do list for 1.1 is fix the Saruman ring script. And we've taken on board another scripter who has proven very, very good, the gentleman who added this Enid White script I speak of. His name is AWP Scrape. Don't ask me what the name means. I've never understood people's naming conventions. But anyway, I in my head I call him AWP Scrape, so that's what I'm going to call him. And he is the one who fixed our Enid White script. He also fixed the, although I don't think the changes have been merged yet, but he also fixed the Thranduil's Realm script. There was a somewhat of a bug in the Elven Alliance script whereby, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Whereby if you deny the messenger at the very beginning, well, background on the script. On the script in its base form is if you accept the alliance right through to the end, then you get some of Lothlorien's units and vice versa, the other way around. If you deny the script, then you get your faction's most elite unit. So for the elves of the Woodland Realm, you get the Elven King's Guard, and for Lothlorien, you get the March Wardens. But if you deny the script right at the very beginning, when the messenger first arrives in Mirkwood, if you deny the script then, it didn't award you anything, which is obviously not what was intended. So AWP Scrape has also just added a minor little counter to that, so that if you deny the messenger at the very beginning, you don't go through the script at all, then you'll still get your elite unit. You'll still get the Elven King's Guard or the March Wardens. So that is also another nice little fix. Plenty of little fixes have gone in here and there. I have also completely adjusted the mass stat of every horse within the game. So the mass stat, which we did for all of the units a while back, finally. We lost 65 men. How many from the cavalry? 23. And they killed almost as many as the Angmar bodyguards. Well done, sir. The mass stat dictates how deep into enemy lines a unit will punch. And as many of you may know, or you might not know, the reason the shield wall does so much damage. Now, someone did comment this the other day, but I'm going to drop a little ego bomb and tell you that I did already know this, I'm afraid. I was well aware that this is what this does. But the mass stat dictates how deep into the enemy line you'll punch. And when you go into shield wall, the game increases those units' mass stat. That's how it works, which is why they punch so deep into enemy lines. They become unstoppable. But on the flip side, the higher your mass, the less likely you are to be affected by enemy charges, which is why the shield wall also stops cavalry. Well, it is meant to anyway. So that's how it all works in a nutshell. Oh, look, that's apparently what Helm's Deep looks like when you zoom out. It's interesting. But so we'd edited the mass stat for all the infantry, and now came the time to edit the mass stat for all the cavalry. And that is what I've done. So the greatest mass stat of any horse in the game now is the Knights of the Silver Swan horse. The second best horse is the Royal Swan Guard of Dol Amroth, the bodyguard unit, and the Cataphracts of Rune. Now, I could never remember their names, so I just called them Cataphracts. Loke something. Loke Inas Rim, maybe, or is that the archers? I don't know. They all mean something. But so those are the best inverted commas units now, and the worst horse is a horse simply called the basic horse. Now, I haven't actually looked into it, and I don't know who actually uses the basic horse, but it is now the worst horse. Righty ho, we've taken that town. Leave behind the fellas. Stand on the river. What should we do? What should we do? What should we do? We've got quite a bit of money, actually. The sun is streaming in through my window, and it's actually quite a pain. I should shut the curtains, really. But then doesn't that always make you feel bad when you shut yourself in like that? We need followers of Melkor. No real choice but to build the shrines. Or none of these places are ever going to like us. Yeah, look, there's building shrines everywhere. Shrines don't get us any money, though. That's a problem. But we'll easily retake Shadoon. They don't get a garrison there, and 2 units of cavalry will not be able to hold the city against what we're about to send in, so... Oh, Dunedain, don't know when you're not wanted. Sod off. They're coming at us everywhere. Christ. And I thought Lindon would be the challenge. Not to be so. Oh, well, we don't want 2 generals in there. No, 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 no. Take the fellas.
Listen up, or regroup, you louts. Come on.
Build a watchtower.
Objective complete.
Drango, you go and build some watchtowers so we've got sight range. Let's see what Arbalison does.
Defeating you.
Now he can attack all of these places, but he might attack Yagler. Now we don't actually have any archers, so standing on that bridge means nothing. Our archers, the only 2 archers we've got in the entire kingdom, are in Overlord Agandal's army. We'll have to end the turn. No real chance. Oh, sod off. Where's Dunland when you need them?
They're attacking the camp.
Dunland are meant to be pressing on Bree and the Northern Dunedain and out completely destroying them.
Defend the camp.
Oh, he did attack us. He so outclasses us. He's got one man for all of our men as well. And he's got 4 units of elven archers. Oh, God's sake. Our army is about to die, I'm afraid. This is probably going to be my first true defeat. Battle Angmar. No, don't go into it that mentality. Fight! Fight to the last man. What episode number are we on? Episode 5, isn't it? Yes. Episode 5. Min, Tard, Leben, Neled. No. Min, Tard. Oh, possibly Neled, Kanad, Leben. I can't remember. Those are the Sindarin numbers. Oh, this is an interesting bridge. Where's the actual bridge? Ah, over there. Right, well, what do we have here? What chance do we even have against... What does Theoden say? Because I would share whatever he has to say. What can men do against such reckless hate? I'm just going to close the curtain. I apologise for this. I got another offer to partner today. It is my 5th offer to partner, although 2 of them were for the same company. On YouTube. I partnered once, actually, quite a while ago, when I had about 1,500, maybe 2,000 subscribers. I partnered with a channel, and it didn't do a single thing, save forgave them some of my revenue, which, even now, is still very small. It's casual, it's like throwaway, like, oh, I've been using it to get better things on the computer, but it's not very much. But anyway, I partnered when I was a lot smaller a channel, and it didn't give me any benefits, so I stopped. I almost immediately stopped. And then that same company then asked me to partner again later on. But I've been asked to partner again. And I'll have a read. But the general gist of it always seems to be not that useful, in my honest opinion. Right, we're going to have to endure their archer fire. Unfortunately, but their archers are so good. We need their main units to get involved. Welcome to the Lindon. These are Teleri. The Teleri are one of the 3 houses of the elves, the other 2 being the Noldor and the Vanyar. Oh, and there's the unit that Ariora made. That was what I was talking about. But the Teleri are... Well, these aren't really Teleri. I mean, these are Sindar, but Sindar are a version of the Teleri. So it's like all elves fall into one of the 3 houses, but then there are breakdowns then within the houses. It's all covered in the elf video I did ages ago, in the lore video. Right, if they're not actually going to come near us, then if we pull everyone back, I'm not just going to stand there and die. So pull away from the edge and then we'll run back to it when the time comes. Oh, I'll tell you what we might be able to do. We might be able to even get our cavalry involved. We might be able to charge our cavalry in. Why didn't you go? Oh, because you're in... No, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. Pause the game. Now is our time. Run back, run back, run back. Now that should stop them shooting us. Cavalry stands ready. Everybody run. Go, 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 go. Got the buggers. Right, charge in. Don't be on defense mode. Come out of your formation. Guardians of Kandum and our General's Bodyguard are the only thing we've got here. The Teleri are outrageously good. If you want an... Oh, they've even sent their General over. Look at them waving their spears like with gay abandon. The Teleri Swordmen do 11 damage and they have 16 defense. Where did I get 20 from? 16 total defense. Made up of 6 armor, 7 defense skill and a 3 on their shield. Now, fighting against them are Orc Marauders who do 6 damage and have 11 defense. So they're not actually that far behind. Half as much damage, but only 5 behind on defense. However, because the elves are 1 for 1, that means they are 1 for 1 better than us. Every one of their men will do more damage than every one of our men. Now, our only real hope here, I think, is that we completely surround them. Yeah, get involved there, get involved there. Bring up our general. Ah, their cavalry is not going to be useful at all in that close quarters. We have to just hope that our numbers hold, really. Look at this son of a gun. He's just ploughing his cavalry through. What's the stats? They're killing so many of us. But then, as we saw from the Fog of War, this is the bulk of Lindon's entire army. And even if the Northern Dunedain do take those few provinces in the middle, I can't see them taking all of Old Ered Luin, so... Oh, the percentage has just risen up. Where's their general as well? Their general will take so long to die. But he is up against our best, the Angmar bodyguards. Let's put that into perspective for you. Angmar bodyguards do 10 attack, not even as good as the Teleri-based units. Oh my god. They do 22 total defense, and they're up against, if I can click on one, Phallus Lords, who do 15 damage and have a 35 total defense stat. Now, I have been spending my entire life labouring under the illusion that attack and defense work by a first-past-the-post system. So, if a unit does 2 attack, and he's fighting against a unit that has 10 defense, then he would have to hit him 5 times to kill him. And I always assumed that was exactly how it worked. But subsequent information from Grumpy Pirate, from Dutch Balrog, I believe Wolferson possibly, and Hummingbird, all suggest that the attack stat is actually more of a dice roll feature. So rather than you need to hit me 5 times because I have 5 times the attack you do, it seems to be a little bit more... it kind of just rolls the dice on each attack. And does like a percentage, so you do the chance that you'll actually damage them with your 5 times worse attack is X, Y, Z. It's, let's say 20%. So on each hit, there's a 20% chance you'll kill him. I've never actually ever looked into it. I must confess, I've never looked into it. But then it doesn't really affect any of the unit balancing or anything like that. So I've never really felt I've needed to look into it. But it's just an interesting one to realise that it's not how I thought it was all this time. Right, it's going interestingly is how I would define how it's going. If we can get our cavalry to charge into this flank down here, we might get might get a solid bonus out of this. But the elves just do so much damage. Look at them just fanning out. They're just killing everyone that comes to them. We're not going to win, but if we can kill as many as possible, then Agandal might be able to mop up. Look at that. That's a pretty cool portrait,
Afraid
isn't it?
something changes in the course of battle, for defeat seems almost certain.
Ah, see, that was quite a good charge. That was quite a good charge. Right into the Lindon long spears, though. I didn't even realise he's got the long spears in there. Ah, the bastard. Ah, pardon my French. Long spears are very good. Well, they've killed us on the east. It's because of those bloody Phalas Lords. Why can't they have the pikes again? They were crap when they had the pikes. Everyone always used to talk about how underperforming they used to be. What's happened to those elves? Bring back those elves. Ah, Guardians of Khan Dum are doing alright though. Oh, where are you going? I told you to go over there. Instead, what you've done is charge into their lines, died, and then fled. Suitably useless. We've got lines of our units here. Come on, press in, press in.
Defeat seems almost certain.
Defeat is certain, but kill as many as you can. The sea of blue and silver that is so telling of Lindon's army composition. Now, interesting little tidbit about modding in Total War for you is that Hummingbird did make a Lindon Teleri Archers, Teleri Swordmen and the Teleri Riders. He gave them a look that was entirely based off of the Lindon Long Spears. But the Lindon Long Spears were created by the gentleman whose name I've totally forgotten. Ah, oh, bugger, our first one's gone down, Malthak. The Lindon Long Spears were created by a man from the base game team, Third Age Total War, who gives no permission to anyone for any of his units. Although, having said that, these Phalas Lords are the only unit, I think, in recorded history where the guy has let anyone edit his models. Because Ariora took the gentleman's Elder Rinway nobles from Imladris as a base and made the Phalas Lords out of them. But he doesn't normally give permission to do anything, and that was the case with our change to the Teleri. So we tried to make the Lindon Long Spears look like, or we tried to make the 3 base Lindon units look like the Long Spears, so that there was just raw uniformity amongst the 4 basic Lindon units. And he said no, he said we couldn't do that. Even though all we'd actually done was take the Lindon Long Spear model, give it a sword and a shield, give it a bow, and pop it on a horse. And he was having none of it. So that had to get taken down. Right, we're just left with our elites. We have killed 50% of the enemy. That is pretty damn good, but quite a large number of them will replenish. Now, we might be able to run away, actually. Salvage something out of it.
Our army is tiring.
If we can get everyone to run away. Oh, but the elves outrange us. Oh, and he's dead. It doesn't matter now anyway. He just got killed with arrow fire. What a joke. 519 of them in the end fell. That's good. They didn't heal too many. Casualties inflicted. The Guardians of Khan Dum killed 191 of the pointy-eared buggers. Well done, men. Now he's just going to sweep in and take that down, but we might be able to kill him with our army of generals we've got on the west. Apologies for the noise change there. Just itching the side of my head. I don't like wearing a headset. I never really have done. He bypassed those dwarven rebels, though. I was hoping that they would stop him in his tracks, but they did not. The elves have come. Lindon comes. Baggage train lost. We've lost a little bit of money for that. Chief Hoonvor and the Wraith of Cardan. Yes, I'll take as many generals as you can get. It's all I've got that can fight against this bastard. I apologise for my overuse of this term, but the elves are so powerful. We have so little hope of beating them.
Regroup, you louts.
I'm not going to fight him on a bridge battle either. That would just be a slaughter. Oh, they released our prisoners. That's interesting. Kingdom of Gondor is currently the best militarily and the best overall. Khazad have got the most money and Mordor production and population. And Yagluk and Malthak both died. Ah, for Hamgard got a slave pit. Not a slave pit. Got its shrine. Gives a bit more Melkor. I'd like something that gives me money if I can. Hunting lodge, yeah. take a grain exchange when you're done. Art. You haven't really got anything I need. You trade anything? Oh, we can get a spy. I thought that was Snagger then, I got my hopes up. Oh, we can train Snagger up here though, yes. Snagger are useless, but units are units.
Objective complete.
Do we think Furos is going to hold? Probably not. We're outclassed by the Dunedain. But we'll end this episode by taking Shadoon.
Attack!
I need a win. I need a win or the day is ruined. Ruined. This day is ruined. Oh, I was also going to say, that was what I was going to say. Ages now, we're right at the end. I'm not going to step down as leader of DaC.
Let's pray it remains.
I said this in the... what video did I do yesterday, or the day before? Stainless Steel. In the Stainless Steel video, I said about... I spoke to Hummingbird, and the short story is he basically doesn't want to be the leader, and he doesn't have any plans after 1.1. So DaC kind of would have just go nowhere if I stepped down as leader. And the other thing as well is that if I were to step down, I'd want to step away completely. So if I were to no longer be the leader, I would also no longer want to even be part of DaC. I'd want to just wash my hands of it completely. But at the moment, my plan was to step down as leader and let Hummingbird take the leadership role, but I'd still stay on and do a bit of modding here and there. And it just seemed like that was a complete waste of time. If I'm going to stay on and do a bit of modding here and there, then I might as well just stay on in the purely figurehead role of leader.
It'll not be long before our enemy's defenses fall.
So it just seemed to make sense to just stay and do that. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. We'll go in with the general because he's more than enough to take out these cavalry if they don't use their charge bonus. Also, these 11 units here are likely, or 35 of these, sorry, are likely to do a lot of damage because they're an anti-cavalry unit. So even though there's hardly any of them, they are the perfect enemy for these Cardellani riders. If you're wondering why I call them Cardellani, it's because I believe the attested version, or the attested plural, of the men of Cardellan is Cardellani, with an I at the end. They're dirty, weathered coats. Although these are a unit that are their coats underneath were edited by Mr. Jocks, or Mr. J. He used to be called Jocks. It's called Mr. J now. He's since left Medieval 2 modding, and he now heads up the Rise of Mordor mod. But I spoke with him a great deal when he was over on Medieval 2 modding. I've worked with him a few times, and he was the one who tidied up that chest to give that tree symbol and just look a bit nicer. But the cape is a throwback to the unit's original creation, and as you can see, it just looks weird. It just looks like someone's thrown up on a green cape in certain patches. It's a bit of a strange one. Right, the men of Cardellan are dead, and they've killed hardly any of us.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Speed it up as we charge into those guys. Now, the Dunedain scouts are slightly better in melee because they've got a sword instead of a spear. The Cardellan riders are you could arguably say they're an anti-cavalry unit. But, the white textures as well, this is a perfect opportunity to explain this. Those white textures are not a bug. This is a weird... Well, I mean, it is a bug, I suppose, but it's a weird thing in that when it's snowy, in an orc encampment, when there's a snow texture, the game just covers everything in white. It's very peculiar. I'm unsure why it does it. It's never been fixed. This is a base Third Age Total War settlement. DaC hasn't fiddled with this at all. I think it might be Leo, actually. I think Leo might have edited the orc settlements. Can't remember. But anyway, the purely white textures are actually meant to be snow, but really they don't look like snow, do they? They just look like white textures. So it looks like a bug. But anyway, there we are. It's not a bug, rest assured. Right, as expected, this was an easy victory. We lost 34 men, 10 from the bodyguards, 19 from the halberdiers, and 10 from the fellas, which wasn't a problem because we had 11 fellas to begin with. Which is already a low number, let's be honest. Harkening back to what I was saying, as I shan't step down as leader, but I am going to stop helping as much. I know that sounds really rude, but I've been helping people install the mod for 4 years. Even when I joined the mod, a little tale for you, I joined on as a writer, but within about a month, I became the most seen face of DaC. I was the one who answered all the comments on the thread, and I have kept that role right up until now. Hummingbird has gracefully taken up a lot of the slack, and he does get involved, he answers questions, he helps. But the one thing that Hummingbird I don't think has ever done is help people with the installation. That's something that I have always taken on, and I'm just fed up with that now. So that's what I'm basically going to stop. So I won't step down as the leader because there just seems no point. It would be a step down in name only, and there'd be no reason to do that whatsoever. So I'll continue being the leader. I'll continue monitoring ModDB, or managing ModDB, managing Total War Center, dealing with requests from other people, all the kind of behind the scenes stuff. And so I will stay on and do that. But I am going to now support an awful lot less with when people have questions about installation. Because I've done those guides. I personally think the guides cover it completely in depth. If you literally just sit, listen, and follow every single step, it works absolutely fine. I mean, I show you even in the video that it works fine, so I know that it does.
I will only address you.
Oh, they've got a lot of fort units there, haven't they? Right, you head to Shadoon. Kharndum gets a garrison, so I'm not too concerned if they attack Kharndum, because we can easily hold it. We get a solid garrison there. Angsul and Fueros, if they fall, that's not too much of an issue. But the west, we want to focus on Lindon. So, but I think I will end the episode there, I'm afraid. I'm tempted to go on another turn, but I'm pretty sure we'll be attacked in another turn, and then who knows where that will then come to a close. We've reached the border of Lindon, so we should be able to get sight range on their capital, Mithlond. The Grey Havens. Mithlond literally means Grey Havens, if you are interested as well. A lot of the Sindarin and English place names are direct translations. So it's not Grey Havens in English and something else in Sindarin. It translates perfectly to Grey Havens. One of the few ones that doesn't is Amun Sul. Amun Sul in Westron, or the common tongue, is called Weathertop, obviously, but the direct translation from Sindarin is Windy Hill, or Hill of Wind, or Wind Hill. So it doesn't directly translate to Weathertop. Anyway, there we are. Anywho, that will conclude this episode. So I've given you a massive rundown of the modding, so you can expect all of that in the next version. I'll stay on as leader. That's all dealt with, and the mod version 1.1 will come out hopefully sometime this year. Our to-do list has one item left in it, and once that's done, then that will come out. But then what happens after that, I do not know. Nor Hummingbird nor I really have too many plans beyond that, so we shall see what happens. We will see what happens. So the future of DaC may well be up in the air after version 1.1, but 1.1 should be the most stable version we've ever had. Very few bugs, if at all any. And the only one that I can think of is this ring script bug we've had, whereby if you stand too many units next to the mountain when you drop the ring in, it will crash. Now, spoiler alert, dropping the ringing will kill anyone that's standing on the tile directly next to Orad Ruin. It will damage anyone on the then tile 2 and tile 3, and I believe tile 4 is the safety margin. And if you have too many people around it, the game can't process it and it crashes. But if you just have the general who has the ring, and maybe a few units with him, then he will die. I'm sorry, that's how it works. But it won't crash, and that's something I'm having to answer an awful lot more recently. But thank you to all of you who did comment back and said you weren't able to destroy the ring. It is a crash that only affects a few people. But until we speak again, dear friends, Navar na den pedimad melonin, and farewell.